Got another bone cleaning video today. This bag is full of duck and chicken bones. I got them from, I used to live on a farm and we had some animals, not really sure if it was a possum or a raccoon or a skunk, get into our chicken coop. And they got 7 chickens, so I got 7 chickens to clean the bones of, and then we also had a duck get sick and die, and so I collected that duck as well. So these bones are all the chicken bones, and I did a burial method for these because it was back when I didn't really have access to do a water maceration. If I was gonna go back, I probably would have just let them open rot like I did the duck, and then macerate whatever was left. But I didn't have a way really to do that well before, so they were just kind of just shoved in a bag and then put in my garden, essentially. Not a garden for eating, just like my flower garden. I don't ever put any. I wouldn't advise burying things in with your tomatoes, but got some pretty cool pieces. This is like I think it's like their hips and or like the end of their spine. Not really sure. I had some wishbones in here I'll show too. Oh yeah, here. I've got 7 wishbones. This is a good haul. They're covered in soldier fly larvae, and of course, as you can see, they're like really dirty and stained. So what we're gonna do is just soak these down and hose them off and clean them, and then they're free of any flesh. They just are covered in dirt. So what I'm gonna do is just prep them for degreasing. So I'm sure y'all are probably thinking every video you do is degreasing. But I think some of my other bones are done now as far as being degreased, so I'll get to show the whitening step here soon for some of them that have been degreasing for a while. But see, now that I have all this space to work with, I can just spray them off and then toss the clean ones to the side. These are pretty neat because they've got a kind of a different end. I don't know how to. I think those are where its feet were. This one still had its. They tagged some of the chickens just to know their age, which just means to put a little ankle bracelet around them, really. And it was still attached whenever I dug it up. Oh, and then so their feathers hadn't totally decomposed yet. So these are the quills. Like the feather part had decomposed, but the end piece was like still, it hadn't quite broken down yet. I think these bone pieces are cool too. They kind of have like a point. They kind of go to a point. Of course, I'm really excited about the wishbones. Like, I think those are so cool. These pieces are pretty cool too. I don't know exactly what it is. I think it like might be, I know it's like part of the spine or their hips or their like backbone. I know I said that about the other one, like that might also be what this is. I don't really know. I think these bones here are pretty cool too. They're like, it's like a fused part of their neck. I think they look pretty neat. A really big leg bone. So one of the things you might be thinking to get your own chicken bones is to just reuse the bones from when you've gone and bought like a rotisserie chicken or chicken wings. Well, you don't really want to boil your bones or roast your bones or bake your bones or anything like that. Once a bone has been cooked like that, essentially what it does is it traps the grease that I'm trying to get out in the bone. It also kind of compromises the structural integrity. It kind of starts to break that bone down because it's such a high heat.
So a lot of people will say on the internet sometimes to boil your bones, but really you don't want to do that because you don't want to trap the grease, because for safety reasons we want to get all of that out. Also for discoloration problems, we want to get all of that out. We don't want discolored bones. And especially for jewelry, something where you're going to be wearing it, you don't want it to be compromised structurally, because we want it to be strong and we want it to last a long time. And so instead what we're going to do is we're going to put all of these in a bucket with Dawn and water. I've shown in other videos a step-by-step process of how to do it. I'll show you again in this video. It's really easy. And what that does over time is the Dawn pulls the grease out of the bone. And it also is going to help with the staining. So like I mentioned before, since I buried these bones, they're pretty stained. But also that staining is just the grease. So as the grease gets pulled out, they won't be so discolored anymore. They'll start to go from this really, this like dirty yellowish color to more of just a cream color, which then you can leave, or you can choose to whiten it a little bit brighter white if you want to, which I usually like to do, and that's just like my own preference.
This is the pile so far. Pretty good haul. Still not done. It takes a long time to do this stuff. Not a lot of people, I don't think, realize that. Which is, if you don't know, you don't know. I didn't know when I first started that it took this long to get bones from when you find either the animal or the loose bone to being wearable. It's a long process, but I think it's worth it. That's kind of a cool piece. I like that piece. These pieces almost look like a dragon skull or something. I don't know if you you see what I'm talking about? Kind of looks like a dragon skull, like the eyes, and like this is the nose, and it's where the nose would be. Highly recommend an old toothbrush for this work. It really helps scrubbing that extra layer of dirt off.
So another thing I want to talk about in this video is the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, or the MBTA. This is an act that was signed by several countries in the United States that protects pretty much every bird. You can look it up to see the full list, but unless it's like a domesticated bird, like a chicken or a turkey or a duck, like the ones that I'm working with in this video, or it's a bird that has a hunting season, like quail or woodcocks or something, they're on that protected list, which means you can't harvest them and you can't possess any parts of their body. So not the feathers, not the bones, and this keeps them from being over-harvested and sold or poached. We want to protect these species. You can get thousands of dollars in fines if you break this law, and a lot of people don't really realize that when they're first starting out with bone collecting. You might collect a woodpecker or a robin that had passed in your yard and think that it's fine because you didn't kill it, but it still is illegal even if you didn't kill it, because you can't prove that you didn't kill it. So and you don't want to, contribute to the trade of these animals, because then it creates a market for it, and then that's how they wind up getting over harvested and poached. So I just wanted to bring that up because not a lot of people realize that, and that's why I only work with domesticated birds in my work.
This almost looks like a duck skull from the side. You'll see the duck skull when I do the duck. But, well, that wishbone's broken. I got a few of the small bones, like that's pretty small. But yeah, especially when you do the burial method, it's really difficult to make sure you get all those small bones picked back up. It's a vertebra piece. I think the vertebra looks so cool. It's probably my favorite type of bone. Oh, there's all the small bones. They were trapped inside that one. That's kind of a neat piece. I probably put those chickens out in my garden bed probably in March or April, and it is September now, so took about that long. And I could have had it go a lot faster because, like, for example, the duck that I did open rot, just under a planter in my garden, and I didn't bury it. I got that in May, and so it had already gotten fully decomposed, so that's about, you know, a 2-month difference. So definitely suggest doing open rot or maceration rather than burying. The burying also kind of, it really stains them, but it's fine. All the staining will come out. And for some of the bones, like the ones that are just kind of like this, it's not like necessarily a dirt stain, it's just all that grease that's trapped in there. And it's starting to rain. It's all that grease that's trapped in there. But when I degrease them, it'll all get pulled out. I got some that are like little nails. I didn't expect to get those. It's a vertebra piece. I love the vertebra pieces, they're just so cool. They got such an interesting texture. Not texture, interesting shape. And these bones are so tiny. Teeny tiny. And I probably lost a lot of those little tiny bones in my garden bed when I did this, when I got them out, but it's just hard to see. That's another disadvantage of the burial method, is you wind up maybe losing some of the bones because it's hard to find the small ones in the dirt. Because, you know, they get to be the same color as the dirt. It's hard to tell a bone from a rock or a stick sometimes. So it's a pretty cool shape. And if you ever see, I do customs, so if you see a bone that, like I've said before in previous videos, I use all these bones to make jewelry. I make jewelry and insect taxidermy displays, and so all the bones I use for that, I clean myself, find myself, nothing's harmed from my work. But if you ever see a bone that you're like, wow, that bone's really cool, I want that in a necklace, hit me up for a custom. I do custom insect taxidermy, and I do custom bone jewelry as well, necklaces, like either a long style necklace or a choker. I do both. And then I do earrings as well. It's all stainless steel. So you see a particular bone that you want made into a necklace, just let me know. I just like being able to use the bones for something that way, kind of gives new life to the animal that died. Especially, like, you know, these got killed. A lot of my bones are roadkill, so I just hate to think that they're going to waste, you know. So we're gonna put all these in this bucket. This is gonna become our degreasing bucket. We don't really want any dirt in here, just to kind of mitigate the staining. All right, all done. So now I'm gonna cover this with Dawn and fill it up with water, just enough to, you know, cover the bones all the way. And then that's really it. All you have to do for degreasing. I'll change this water every 2 weeks. You could do every 1 week. I'm kind of bad about doing it every week, even though I probably should. Oh, whoa, hold on, I just found I just found one of the jawbones. Huh. I didn't think I would get any of those. That's like the bottom of the beak. That's pretty sick. So, where's the, yeah, so there's the skull. It kind of goes like that. And then, but the other part of the beak had decomposed. Yeah, see? It's pretty cool. Alright, well, I'm excited about that. I'll be able to have a full, at least one full skull then. I didn't find any others. I guess I just have the one. So, yeah. Change every 2 weeks until it stops being greasy. And I'll start showing you what it looks like with that grease getting pulled out next. Alright, so here are my degreasing jars. And as you can see, they're looking pretty murky. And so that's the grease that's getting pulled out. I can show you without this being too shaky. So this is a skull that's in there. And when I shake it, you know, you can kind of see this white that's in there. The white that's in there, if I can hold the camera straight. The white that's in there, all that is grease that's gotten pulled out of this skull. I think it's a raccoon skull. See that swirling around? That's the grease. So you can kind of see it in these two, how it's kind of coming off of that. These are some jawbones that are coming out of that. It's harder to tell in these ones where it's pretty murky. And it's just murky like that because it's kind of gotten, like the bones were like kind of dirty, and so. And then these I need to like clean out and like scrub down because they were dirty. And see, this is what happens when you put dirty bones. This is what happens when your bones still have dirt on them, and then you put them in a bucket to degrease. They just kind of get the water all dirty and nasty, and then you can't really tell if they're degreasing. I mean, they probably still are, but it's nice when the water looks like that, you know, from having clean bones in there, because then you can really see what it's doing, you know. And I'm having a problem with my open buckets because we've got these oak trees. They keep dropping acorns in these buckets, and then they get tannins in there, which is the astringent chemical. It dyes it red, essentially, the tannins do, because I mean, you should see my deck, it's covered in acorns. So I gotta figure out that, because I can't put a lid on this guy, and I don't have a lid for this bucket, so I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, but anyway. And I did just want to mention with these that they are ready to be changed, like the water's ready to be changed. So I'm not gonna film that because I have a previous video on doing that, but I'm just gonna dump the water out over my bone screen, rinse them off, throw them back in there, new set of clean water, set for another couple weeks. I also just want to show how easy it is to clean this off after you're done. Before, the baking sieve I was using, it constantly wanted to get stuff stuck in it, but because the screen, the holes are so small but not metal, it just goes, like, everything just gets sprayed right off. I don't know if you can like really see that well, but so much easier. You just turn it over, spray it off, and then it's done. It's like so much easier. I also just wanted to say the reason that these have planters and buckets over them now is because it was tannins that were dyeing the water red. I realized that once I dumped those out, so that's why I have those like that now. So that way it'll protect it, because we are surrounded by oak trees and squirrels, so we'll see if that protects it from the tannins. I don't want the bones to be stained red, so I think covering it like that will be a good fix to that, but we'll see how that goes, and I'll keep y'all updated in the next one.